Congregation of Israel, coming at you with another edition of Story Time. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, it's in His name, in the name of His only begotten Son, that we do all these classes. All right, this is another edition of Story Time. So let me turn the camera off of me and put it on the books. So the first book I'm going to read is the Bible. All right. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. And I'm going to read verse. Let's start at verse 31. It says, Thine ox shall be slain before thine eyes, and thou shalt not eat thereof. Thine ass shall be violently taken away from before thy face, and shall not be restored to thee. Thy sheep shall be given unto thine enemies, and thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thou shalt have none to rescue them. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thine hand. All right? It says, let me jump down. Verse 34. It says, matter of fact, let's keep going. Let's stay in order. It says, the fruit of thy land and all thy labor shall a nation which thou knowest not eat up, and thou shalt be only oppressed and crushed always, so that thou shalt be mad for the sight of thine eyes which thou shalt see. Right? So, with all that being said, of course, the curses go on and on and on, all the way to verse 68. But I want to show you something. Let me show you something in this book right here called Bartolome'De las Casas. All right, this is a short account of the destruction of the Indies. All right, so let's go inside this book. Let me just show you something. Shalom, King. So this is a book. You see, I got my bookmark. I can use money as a bookmark because Negroes don't read books. All right, so just look at this picture right here. This is a drawing made of some of the atrocities that our Northern Kingdom brothers went through. All right, it says they spared no one. Now you see that. That's men and women hanging up on a log by their necks. So it wasn't just enough to hang you, Salaki. It wasn't just enough to hang you. All right, to hang you up by your neck is already a painful death. They had to put fire. That man right there is a conquistador, and he's stoking the fire. All right. Here you see another conquistador. What's that in his hand? That's a baby. That's a baby. Brothers and sisters, these are the times that are getting ready to come back on the earth. This was coming back. It says, they spared no one, erecting especially wide gibbets on which they could string their victims up with their feet just off the ground and then burn them alive. It says, gave orders that the prisoners were to be throttled. But the man in charge of the execution detail, who was more bloodthirsty than the average common hangman, I know his identity and even met some relatives of his in Seville, was loath to cut short his private entertainment. So this was entertainment for them. This was entertainment for them. By throttling them It says he was loath to cut. He says by throttling them, and so he personally went round ramming wooden bungs into their mouths to stop them from making such racket. Why? Because they was literally hollering at the top of their lungs, and deliberately stoked fire so that they would take just as long to die as he himself chose. So he wanted them to have a slow death, in other words. I saw all these things for myself and many besides. Right? Let's look at some more. 'Cause that's not all. Let's look at some more. See, these are the type of stories you gotta read your kids so that they know what's going on. Let's look at some more. I know folks like pictures, so I'm really just gonna deal with pictures. All right? Bear with me, I got one hand. It says, now look at this picture. Same type of thing. They just, instead of being on a long bar, they got them all tied up to a pole. And what's that? More fire. Bringing more fire. More wood. Look at the conquistador. See that? The Spanish commander gave orders that the leading citizens be roped together, tied to stakes, and burned alive. All right? The Spaniards did this. So, brothers and sisters who got such pride in your Spanish heritage, you shouldn't, because this is where you get your heritage from. Right? This is where you get your heritage from. It says that while the Spaniards were slaughtering the 5,000 or 6,000 men gathered in the country yard, their commander regaled his men with snatches of Nero. So he basically told them stories of Nero. Watched from Tarpe's height, the flames engulf Rome's awesome might. Children and ancients shout in pain. He all regards with cold disdain, meaning he didn't give a damn. He didn't give a damn. This is not propaganda. If you're a Spaniard, if you're a real Spaniard, then you are an Edomite. The real Spaniards are Edomites. The conquistadors are Edomites. That's what conquistador means, conqueror. This is how they conquered. This is not propaganda. This is actual accounts. See, they get mad when the truth come out, right? Let's look at some more. Look at that. Conquistadors. They would shave everybody bald, and they made them work for free. All right? This is what your people did. At the city gates, Montezuma himself came out to meet them. Montezuma was one of the leaders of our people on this side of the earth. It says, carry on a litter of gold and surrounded by the entire court. All right, it says, another of his henchmen with 100 or so men at his command to guard King Montezuma while he was away. The garrison decided to stage a show of strength and thereby boost, let me go to the next page, thereby boost the fear they inspire in the people of his kingdom, a classic Spanish tactic in these campaigns, as we have had occasion to remark before. That sounds like one of the curses. Let's go to the Bible. We're going to come back here. Let's go back to the Bible in Deuteronomy 28 again. Right? Deuteronomy 28 in verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy king, Montezuma, and thy king, which thou shalt set over thee, unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. That's a curse. That's why that happened to them. Even though he was a great king, once them Edomites came, once them conquistadors came, there was nothing he could do to save his people. Let's keep going. This story time. Oh, what do we have here? What is that? Let's see what's going on in this picture. You got some conquistadors. Look like he's putting a pole through that person right there. They wreaking havoc on these people. Look at the mama holding the baby. Look at the baby running. Right? It says all those captured pregnant women, mothers of newborn, babes, children, and old men were thrown into the pits and impaled alive. So that's a pit. You see the pit, the stave sticking through his leg and in the thigh. They still alive. They still alive. Still alive. That sounds like one of the curses too. Let's go back to the Bible. Just showing you that we are the people of God, and this is why this happened to us. Deuteronomy 28 and verse 50. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young. Right? Verse 49 says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far. It say this is an account of the destruction of the Indies, the West Indies. All right. So the conquistadors came from the other side of the world, from the end of the earth. That's what that say. As swift as the eagle flyeth. What's the symbol for Spain? The eagle. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. The conquistadors is who brought Spanish to them. That's how they learned Spanish. Right there. You looking at how they learned Spanish. That's how they learned it. All right, let's keep going. Let's see what's going on in this book. This is a short account, he said. What do we have here? That look like a big axe. Look at there. What's that hanging up in there? They look like some thighs and body parts. Huh. So now we see them swinging axes. Look at here. Look at this man here. He holding up somebody's arm. Look at the baby. He look like he about 2-3 years old. And they frying his ass. Huh. Let's read. The black guard set the royal seal of approval on the establishment in his camp of a human abattoir. An abattoir is a meat market. So they was eating us. Me and the elder Ozias, we was talking about that. He was telling me about a book. I think it was, I forget the name of the book he was telling me about. Basically detailing how they used to eat us. They used to eat us, man. They used to eat us. Right? Hit dog holler. They did this to our brothers in Mexico. Yet in the same area, he and his brothers, together with their comrades in arms, were responsible for the deaths of more than 4 or 5 million souls over 15 or 16 years, from 1524 to 1540. That they were in the area. Right? It says, nor is the butchery and destruction over, for those natives who have survived so far will soon perish in the same way as have all others in the region. Right? One of this blackguard's ploys, whenever he was about to attack a city or the surrounding countryside, was to take with him as many natives as he could from the tribes as he had already conquered, conquistador, and to get them to do his fighting for him. Since never since he never fed the 10 or 20,000 impressed natives in his army, he gave them leave to eat the prisoners they took. So they would starve you so to the point they would deprive you of food to the point that you would be willing to eat your own people. Huh. That sounds like another curse. Let's get it in the Bible. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, so that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat, because he have nothing left him, because he have nothing left him in the siege and in the straitness wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. You see that? Bible is a true book. It go with the history that the white man tell. It goes right along with it. Let's look at some more. Let's look at this one. That's another conquistador. Them some dogs. And that's a baby, half of a baby in one hand, and the other half of the baby in the other one. And that's his mama. And the dog gnawing at her. Let's read. One woman determined that the dog should not tear her to pieces, tied her child to her leg, and hanged herself from a beam. That's how she just rather kill herself to get away from the destruction, but they still ate her baby. Right? It says, there is no way the written word can convey the full horror of the atrocities committed through this region, not even if it were to, would the reader credit the excess that such an account would reveal. Meaning, we can't even really, we can put pictures up here, we can try to write it in this book, but y'all will never really fully grasp the type of stuff that these people went through. Our brothers and sisters. It say the wretched Spaniards actively pursued locals, both men and women alike. So that's why we tell our sisters all the time, y'all got to build y'all spirit up too. It ain't going to just be a man thing when it comes to Jacob's trouble. It's going to be a Israelite thing, right? It says using wild dogs to track them and hunt them down. One woman who was indisposed at the time and so not able to make good her escape determined that the dog should not tear her to pieces as they had her neighbors, and taking a rope and tying her 1-year-old child to her leg, hanged herself from a beam. Yet she was not in time to prevent the dogs from ripping the infant to pieces, even though a friar did arrive and baptize the infant before it died. So religion and conquering go together. So all y'all that's just so ready to willing to go out here and run and get baptized and junk in the water, hey, this is why y'all feel like that. That's why y'all feel like that. It say when the Spaniards were in the very act of leaving the province, one of them demanded that the son of the local chief go with him. But the boy declined, adamant that he did not want to leave home. The Spaniard retorted, "You will come with me, or I will cut off both your ears." Damn. But they baptizing people. Let's get some more. What do we have here? They look like they going in there and stealing some stuff. Look at there. The conquistadors again. Let's read. The Spaniards seized the king and killed vast numbers of men who were with him. The Bible is a true book. He said that he was going to take you and your king and make you serve other gods, baptize you, wood and stone, which your fathers had not known. Let's look at this one. Another conquistador. They love to tie you up to some wood and burn you. Love that. Right? They tortured him with the strappado, put burning tallow on his belly, pinned both his legs and his neck in iron hoops, and burned the soles of his feet. That's them burning the soles of his feet. He is, though. Look how he's standing up. Like a flaming homosexual. Imagine a flaming homosexual doing this to you. That's exactly how he's standing up. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. This has been Story Time with New Wine Congregation of Israel, Brother Nashan, Kwam Yashala.